Welcome back to Gathering Momentum for Your Life. We've been gone for a while, so I'm very excited to be able to be here and to talk with you again, to pick back up where we were with the journey of momentum. The journey begins. This is a modern day parable and devotional, and we're just pulling little pieces out. We're just pulling a paragraph here, a verse there, different things like that, so that we can go ahead and dive deep into God's heart. So I'm so excited that you're here with me. Hello, Cole. It's good to see you. Please go ahead and say that you're coming, where you're coming from, and say hello. And just love to see you guys again. Glad that you're here. And one of the things that I think happens when we're in seasons of really just living, moving, and having your being, which is kind of the verse that I felt like was important for this particular day for what we're doing right now. And one of the things that God has taught me is sometimes living, moving, and having your being with Him means that you take a break a little bit longer than you expected. So that happened in this past few months. And so with Christmas and the holidays and some of the stuff we had going on, the Lord just said, "Hey, we'll pick it back up soon." So we've picked this back up, and I look forward to seeing you guys as we talk. Please feel free to post. I do have your chats up. And remember that you may not see other people's chats because we are streaming to several different social media groups at this point in time. But I am so excited to see what your thoughts are as we move forward. So today we're going to be talking about the chapter that talks about joyful launch. And I think it's great that we are in a new year, that this joyful launch is what we're going to be focusing on right now, as we're entering into February of 2023. And, there's something that really captured my attention as I was reading in this chapter and just preparing for our time today. And that was this particular a couple of sentences. It says, all three in one. Obviously, that's talking about the Lord. Will be here as we reach out and pull those promises for this year into our ship, catching them like flying fish caught in the nets of our passion for Him. And if you remember, you may not, you may be new to this particular live feed, but we are going through a book that is a parable, right? So it uses imagery that has to do with ships and sailing and some of the things that go along with navigating in a ship as it sails along the ocean. So that's one of the things that as you see this, and it's talking about our nets being our passion for Him. What exactly is that fish or that flying fish even that might be something you're capturing in your net with your passion for the Lord. Think about that. And so one of the things that as you feel momentum build, and one of the things in the Warrior Commission that we have recognized is that the last few years for us have really been a time of waiting and holding. We've been in this grace space of developing in our connection with God, going deep into relationship with Him, really exploring who we are in Him, our identity as a community, our identity as individuals, and what that means in walking out our lives, our commission with Him, or maybe your purpose and destiny, or your call, as some people might kind of equate that better. But there's something about going deep into His love and then moving into a season where we feel like we are now that has to do with moving forward. Blessings to you too. And so as we're moving forward, one of the things that happens is you start to shift, right? You feel like there's something going on in your heart, in your life. You feel an excitement maybe, and maybe a little bit of, oh my gosh, what's going to happen now? I don't know. We may not know exactly what's coming, but as we have been in that place, that's that secret place, that grace space with Him, and then as we start to move, what we start to realize is that we're actually moving with Him, right? Which is where that verse, Acts 17:28a, talks about, for in Him we live, move, and have our being, because we do. And so as God moves, if we're in Him, we're going to be moving too. And so Greetings to you too, Charlie. It's good to see you. I'm from Oregon. Yes, it's good to see you. And so as we're doing this, as we're going through this, I'm going to have a question for you guys, and then I'm going to talk a little bit because I'd like for you to have a little bit of time just to share your thoughts. But as we're living, moving, and having our being with Him, one of the things the Lord has been talking to me about is actually being a mobile temple. So we talk about in the Old Testament, you had the tabernacle, right, which was a temple that was set in the ground, and it was stationary, or even if it moved and then was reset, right? It didn't really just move around all the time. But we're mobile temples for Him today, and so we get to carry His heart, we get to carry His love, we get to carry His grace with us as we go. And of course, we're growing in that all the time, so hopefully we'll be able to receive more so we can give more as we go. So it's an ongoing journey. And so for me, I have some measure of those things in my life, of that fruit of the spirit. But since He's beyond measure, I always have more that I can grow in, right? So I would love for those of you who are here, go ahead and share maybe what are some of the promises you feel like God has given you, maybe for this year, maybe in the past, maybe that you're seeing fulfilled or that you hope to be fulfilled soon. Share some of those promises and go ahead and post them. And if you're watching this and you are not on live, please go ahead and share in the post, because I would love to respond to those and encourage you in that as well. So as you're doing that, one of the things that I think is a promise that I have for this year is really about connection. It's about connecting to other people, and it's about growing in those relationships and developing in those relationships. And that's been a call on my heart, a passion in my heart for a long time. But I feel like God's really doing something specific for this time. There's a promise for this time that I think I'm going to get to see fulfilled in the next few months, year, as we move forward. Do you guys have anything you want to share? I see someone says freedom. Yeah, freedom is a great promise from God that you're going to experience more freedom this year. Is there anyone else who has something you want to share? Okay, there's some other things popping up. Increase of passion. Oh, that's a good one. So God's gonna fan the flames of your passion and grow your passion for Him. That's great. That's a really good one, because as we move forward and as life kind of hits hard, sometimes we need to have that passion there to just help sustain us through that, and to help us press into that breakthrough. Someone else is saying intimacy with God. So that's a word that it's a warrior. That's a word that we use in the Warrior Commission, which really has to do with that deep connection. It's that really close knit connection with God's heart, learning who He is, learning His nature, learning learning what his is on his heart, like one of those prayers that people pray in a season like this is, God, let me see others through your eyes, let me see them with your filters, basically with how you see them and how you love, and what that looks like in pouring out to others, or to see them maybe past some challenging behavior, and into something that is truly their heart, and how God created them to be. Really, oh, there's another one. Hope. Hope is a promise for this year. In the last few years, we've had a lot of hits, if you will, worldwide. We have, a lot of stuff going on in this time and season in the world. And so to stay in that place of hope and to see the hope that God gives us is an incredible place to be. So I think that is an incredible promise that you have, that you get to carry, and look for. I think sometimes what I've found is we empower what we focus on. So if we choose to focus on all the negative things in our life, then we tend to get drawn down into them. But if we focus on trying to discover what it is that God's doing in the midst of those circumstances, how He's moving, what He's teaching us, how He's developing us, and maybe even a part of His nature that He's revealing to us. Oh, that's good. Thrive. Oh, that's a great one. Thrive is a really good one. To thrive in the Lord, to thrive in your life. And that's really that's so great, because that's really how we walk out, right? That's being able to walk out with joy, with life, with excitement. So that's really, really good. I'm excited about that one. But again, back to the idea of living out of the promises, of looking for that hope, of seeing God moving in our lives, finding those places where we see him moving. The people that choose to do that, and sometimes in the midst of a circumstance, I may have to step back and I may have to say, okay, God, reset me. Let me see how you're moving, because right now the circumstances have gotten so in my face that I'm having trouble seeing what you're doing. And when I do that, that reset, that stepping back into the secret place really helps me be able to find how he's moving. So one of the questions, actually, there's several questions that are part of this chapter, and it says, soaking in his waves of love, have you tapped into the joy of the journey? So I want to encourage you to look for that joy of the journey, which we've kind of been talking about a little bit. And then, have you learned to laugh as the adventure begins? So there's a starting point where we choose joy. And the joy isn't some sort of I'm going to pretend to be joyful, and you don't know what's, like, you pretend you don't know what's going on. You're not in denial, but you're in a place where you're choosing to embrace the joy for the journey, and you're choosing to laugh, in some sense, even on the battleground, because your God's got this, and he's going to help you through it, and he's going to walk with you through it. So there's another, the nature of God's promises. The nature of God promises joy, but joy is not simple happiness. It's much deeper. So are you finding what that well of joy really looks like, that deep place, or even that aquifer of joy looks like, rather than the surface little babbling brook that can dry up very quickly? And so then the other question is, as you put out your net, what flying fish or promises can you capture in your net of relationship with God? And then how would you describe your promises from him? And what do you think your life will look like as you step into those promises? And so I think these are great questions for dreaming with God. These are great questions for, as you step into that place where you're saying, okay, God, show me what you see. Show me what's happening in this time. Show me and reveal to me what it is that you want me to know on this stage of the journey. And as you ask those questions, and as God starts to reveal that information, I think you're going to find some really amazing ways to dream with God, and to find new hope and discovery in your life and in your journey, and joy in the journey as hope springs up. So I just want to thank you guys for joining me. I do plan on being here next week at 3 o'clock. That would be 3 o'clock Eastern time, 12 o'clock Pacific time. Would love to see you again. In the meantime, please feel free to post. Would love to see your comments. And I am very excited about what God has for this year. So you guys have a great one, and I will see you soon.